welcome back to AI PM Simplified, the channel where we break product management down to what actually matters. Last time we learned how a PM reads a market before building anything. Today, we answer what comes next. Once you understand the market, where do the ideas actually come from? Post-it notes started as a failed adhesive, glue that was too weak to be useful. Ozempic began as a side effect of a diabetes drug. Two accidents, two giants, but here's the part the stories leave out. In both cases, an observant system caught the accident and turned it into a product. From the outside, innovation looks like magic. Inside, it's a repeatable system. Ideation isn't a talent you're born with, it's a process you can run. Here's the trap. Thinking you need to be a naturally creative genius to be a great PM. You don't. You need an idea engine, and today, we're going to build one. So, let's start by killing the biggest myth of all, the flash of inspiration. The media loves the lone genius narrative. One person, one flash of insight, and the world changes. It makes a great story. It's also a myth. Take Newton's apple. We picture it falling, and bang, gravity. In reality, gravity took years of methodical math and observation. The flash was a lifetime of quiet work. Real ideas don't arrive as lightning. They accumulate signal after signal until they connect, and good PMs don't sit around waiting for lightning to strike. They build lightning rods, systems that catch those signals as they come. The trap here, waiting for a flash of inspiration, instead of actively hunting your market for idea sources, and the moment most teams try to force ideas, they reach for the worst tool of all, the brainstorm. We treat the whiteboard brainstorm as sacred, but the research is brutal. Free-for-all brainstorming actively suppresses good ideas. Four forces do the damage: production blocking, only one person talks at a time, so every other train of thought stalls, evaluation apprehension, people bury the weird, early-stage ideas, the valuable ones for fear of looking silly. Extroverts and senior leaders dominate the room. And the first loud idea, it anchors everyone else's thinking. Picture the junior PM who stays silent. Because the VP of product spoke first. That's a lost idea every time. The trap, judging a team's creativity by how loud, energetic, or fun the whiteboard session felt. So, if the group session is broken, what replaces it? The fix has a name, the Nominal Group Technique, and it flips the order of a normal meeting. Step 1. Everyone generates and writes their ideas silently, alone. No talking, no anchoring. Step 2. You pool every idea anonymously, so no one knows who wrote what. Step 3. You debate the idea, never the person who wrote it. This isn't theory. Amazon and GitLab mandate silent reading and writing at the start of meetings, specifically to neutralize hierarchy and get the real thinking out. Diverge alone, converge together, the trap, skipping the silent writing phase to save a few minutes, because that one shortcut defeats the entire purpose of the framework. Now we've got a clean way to process ideas, but where do the raw ideas actually come from? Drucker had an answer. Peter Drucker argued innovation comes from scanning, not inventing. He mapped exactly where to look: 7 sources, split into 2 groups. 4 are internal, inside your industry, and the most reliable, unexpected events, incongruities, process needs, and market changes. 3 are external, broader shifts in the world, demographics, changes in perception, and new knowledge. Think about Spotify launching in India. They didn't invent music, they spotted a demographic shift, a huge young Gen Z audience, and an incongruity, Western-centric pricing that didn't fit that market. 2 sources, 1 opportunity. The trap, relying 100% on customer feedback and ignoring the other 6 rich sources of innovation sitting right in front of you. But not all 7 sources are created equal. Some are far safer bets than others. Here's how to prioritize. Reliability is on one axis and glamour on the other. The reliable winners sit top left, high success rate, low glamour. Those are the internal sources: unexpected events, incongruities, process needs, market changes. Reusable rockets came from an incongruity. Rockets were thrown away after 1 flight, an obvious existing waste problem, not flashy, enormously valuable. Now bottom right, high glamour, low reliability. That's bleeding edge tech and brand new knowledge. Generative AI is exciting and it has high failure rates. Let someone else take the expensive R&D risks. Look for what's already broken, inefficient, or weird. The trap, chasing flashy new technology, blockchain, LLMs, before you found a real customer problem to solve. Let's make this concrete. Let's trace $1 billion product back to its source. Uber didn't invent transportation. They didn't invent the car or the road. They fixed an illogical inefficiency that was hiding in plain sight. Trace it backwards. The source, a massive market incongruity. The reality, thousands of empty personal cars driving past people every single minute. The gap, people needed rides, but taxis were scarce and unreliable. Put those together and the output is obvious. Connect the empty seats to the waiting riders. That's a $50 billion company built on an incongruity anyone could have seen. The trap, thinking disruption requires inventing a brand new behavior when usually it just means fixing an inefficient existing one. So we know where ideas come from, but there's one more filter that keeps them pointed at something people actually want. This is jobs to be done, and it reframes everything. People don't buy features, they buy progress in their lives. Every product is hired to do a functional, emotional, or social job. The classic example, the milkshake. A fast food chain couldn't figure out why morning milkshake sales were so high until they asked what job it was hired for. Position applied for, morning commute companion. Functional qualifications, thick enough to last 20 minutes, fits the car cup holder, kills mid-morning hunger. Emotional qualifications, breaks the boredom of a long solitary drive. Nobody wanted a milkshake, they wanted their commute to suck less. The trap. Building a better product, a thicker milkshake, without knowing what job it's actually being hired to do. Now, let's assemble every piece into one machine. Put it all together and these frameworks remove luck from the equation. Picture a machine with 4 stages: intake, Drucker's 7 sources fill your raw idea pipeline, filter, jobs to be done screens every idea for actual customer value. Processor, Diverge and Converge runs structured ideation on the best concepts. Output, a validated product idea. Netflix ran exactly this. They scanned a market change, the source to solve the job of entertain me at home without the late fees. Source, meet job to be done, outcomes a category-defining product. The trap, running these frameworks once a year at an off-site instead of building them into your weekly PM routine. So let's bring it home. Here's the whole episode in one line. Stop waiting for the light bulb. Ideation is not a gift, it's a system. You gather signals systematically, you diverge alone and converge together, and you run it as a repeatable operational process every week, not once a year. You've now got a machine that produces validated ideas on demand, but a great idea is not a strategy. Next episode, we cover how to strategize your new idea, the 3 strategy frameworks every PM should know: Blue Ocean, the ERRC grid, and ANSOF, the trap to avoid until then. Having a validated product idea, but lacking the strategic framework to take it to market. That's episode 5. If this gave you a system to steal, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.